Are we live right now?
Yeah. So
We're just sitting.
Let's start.
Hello, everybody. We are Auburn Undercover at auburnundercover.com. I'm Myles Barrineau. I'm here with Marcello, Michael Niziolek. It's bowl week, guys.
Well, technically.
Well, it's pre-bowl week.
Yeah, technically.
It's bowl week.
We're within spitting distance.
Yeah, it's almost bowl week. And we're at the Hyatt in Atlanta for the Peach Bowl. Just got out of press conference with Kevin Steele and some of the defensive players. Everyone's excited to be here. They don't have a whole lot to say, but
There you go.
yeah.
See you Monday.
That's the recap for you.
We spoke to 4 Auburn defensive players. Several.
5, if you were counting them.
There were 5. Oh, that's right. They had 4 at one time in this room while the other players in there. So 5 total. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And 1 defensive coordinator.
And 1 defensive coordinator, who is the defensive coordinator for Auburn University's football program.
That's right. He's been doing this for 38 years.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know
very,
that.
very long time. So I guess top takeaways to me. 1, Davis Russell explaining why he was coming back. Nothing surprising there. He just felt like.
Why did he come back?
The draft advisory committee said go back to school.
So to explain that, now you get a grade 1, 2, or not.
He said it was 1 or go back, but he said he got a go back grade, so he didn't get a 2 grade. That's my understanding, as you just said, 1 or 2 or go back.
Used to be a little different.
Yeah, he got a go back grade, decided to go back. He says he's got 2 classes left in the spring. Says he'll take those, graduate. Concentrating on football, he says either way, I wasn't going to not have football, so I might as well just come back next season. And obviously he can improve his draft stock. I thought it was interesting. You wrote an article, Mike, about Jeff Holland and what his teammates think about his future. It certainly sounds like a decision's been made to me.
It did. That Deshaun kind of smiled and said, "We know which way he's leaning," and then said other teammates know which way he's leaning. He didn't. He held a pretty good poker face and didn't kind of say which way. But it sounds like I think that he'll probably take some time, and the draft grade just came back this week. I'd be surprised if he announced something after the bowl, but I would assume probably within a week that he'll have a decision made. Just sounds like he's doing his due diligence, but that's what these players have to do. There's not a whole lot of time. I think January 15th is the deadline, so you want to kind of get everything in order to make an educated decision before, this week. And I know probably the only thing that's left too. One of the things left, if Gus is kind of honest about it, that he said that they're going to talk after the game with each player individually. So maybe that's something that has to be done. But I would think that Jeff Holland has his mind made up one way or the other. I think the bigger question mark, Carlton Davis, Trey Matthews talked about talking to him about the process. So he's looking into it certainly, and he's kind of a wild card in this situation. I have no idea kind of what way that wind's blowing. To be honest, I don't have any kind of...
With Carlton?
Carlton,
I don't either, but I found it interesting, and I'll write a story later today on it. All the players don't know if he's going to play Saturday.
That's strange, too.
And some of them when you have to ask Gus Malzahn. That's his decision.
It's weird.
That doesn't sound like someone
if you had
who's
the
sick.
flu, you'd think it'd be like it'd be God's decision.
Yeah, God's decision.
Or the medicine.
Or the Tamiflu.
Right. Or
so.
like, if you have flu-like symptoms.
But we don't know what
he's... Yeah, but yeah, it's just...
We don't know what he's sick of. Football,
Right.
Auburn, or illness. I don't know. But it's interesting.
And they were similarly tight-lipped after the bowl game.
The SEC Championship?
The SEC Championship game.
It's been weird with Carlton because, number one, he didn't play in the second half. There were rumors going around about why he didn't play. Then he gets on Twitter later that night and said he didn't play because of a concussion he suffered in the Iron Bowl, which if you suffered a concussion in the Iron Bowl and you're still feeling the effects of that, he would not have played the SEC Championship game at all. He wouldn't have been one of those situations where go play the first half and then go play in the second half. It's very strange. And then now it's been like him and Hahn about what his status is for this game. Gus Malzahn said earlier this week that he'll have an update later this week, which would be
and Kevin Steele does
Saturday
not discuss
or Sunday
injuries or sickness. He doesn't discuss availabilities of players.
And I wasn't in the room when Kevin Steele was speaking. We had two separate rooms. We're in a room right now where we're sitting, where players came in and kind of broke out. Then Kevin Steele came in and broke out for about 15, 20 minutes. And I was talking to players, so was Mike. I didn't spend a lot of time with Kevin Steele. Philip Marshall did, so he'd probably be able to tell us, but he's not here right now. But my guess is he didn't say anything about Carlton Davis. Otherwise, we would have seen it by now. But all the players I talked to certainly were like, they didn't know. They didn't know if he's going to play or not, and that's very interesting to me. And
was he practicing today or yesterday?
They said he was supposed to return to practice. They just don't know when. He was sick yesterday. Wasn't even there, which was interesting. But
and we'll have open practice for 15 minutes tomorrow. Not today.
Right?
Yeah.
So we'll see if he's there. What the question is he holding himself out for the NFL? To not
and they
play.
don't want to answer those questions because Gus doesn't like talking about that stuff. That's
or is it something else? We don't know, and the people I've talked to won't tell me. So
if he doesn't practice, do we get Gus before on Saturday? Or no, Saturday we get him Sunday. So it'll be interesting if he doesn't practice. If will have to face some of those questions about what exactly his status is.
It might be a similar situation to, if you remember. I'm just saying if there's something up. I'm not saying there is, but it's just strange that it'd be a similar situation. If you remember the Outback Bowl a few years ago, it was quiet about Duke Williams, and then Gus Malzahn had a press conference that Duke Williams is suspended indefinitely. Is not playing in this game.
And not that will be the outcome, but that there'll be some sort of.
But there will be a resolution.
Right. And it's interesting when you talk about the injured players. You ask guys about Trey Williams or somebody, they always kind of say, he's going to play, no question. Or they usually give some sort of substance. So to avoid the question completely is interesting with Carlton. So certainly one of the only question marks roster-wise they have going into this game.
Yeah, Kerryon Johnson's going to play. I was told yesterday, I'm not going to tell you. Go to 3 things I know, 3 things I think. It's for subscribers only. I've got intel on Kerryon Johnson and how he's doing health-wise going into this game. And then also some intel on how the coaches and people around the program are feeling about their offensive game plan going into this game. Got some intel on that. But you're right. They're expecting everybody to play, but the big question is right now is still Carlton Davis. And all the players today kept talking about, well, we got Jamel Dean, we got Travaris Davis. We'll be fine. Those guys are really good. But you never once heard any of the players today saying, oh, he's going to play. He's good. We're going to be fine. Carlton's going to be out there. So very interesting. Did any of you listen to the UCF offensive coordinator Troy Walters or quarterback at all?
I did a bit.
I didn't.
They didn't have a whole lot to say.
Yeah. They got a lot of questions too about their coaching situation and the kind of,
I saw
what's
Tom
going on in
Osborne's
Nebraska.
name come up in the transcript.
And they try, the offensive coordinator tried to deflect a lot of that stuff, trying to talk about the team that they have here. So
those coaches going to be gone Monday night.
Right. Well, because they are technically Nebraska coaches. So.
So they're just sticking around for the bowl game.
Yeah. Bowl game, then they're out.
And then the other thing, I talked to 4 of the guys about the trash talk. Trey Matthews said it was, they've downplayed it, but he said it woke guys that maybe were upset about not making the playoff, upset about kind of seeing Alabama and Georgia get in and all the other teams they've played in the last year, that maybe in that kind of a week or two after, in that kind of haze after the loss to the SEC championship, and once those comments, the running back, Killian's, his comments hit the airwaves, that kind of woke everybody up. He said the defensive coaching staff isn't going to have to give any pep talks this week because they've added to it. Brandon, you heard those comments yesterday about the holes in Auburn's defense. And so the trash talk's piling up, or maybe the foot in the mouth disease is piling up.
Or maybe the kids just don't know what it's like to talk in front of the media.
That's true.
It's possible.
And they've been diplomatic about it. I don't think anybody's mad, but I definitely think they're going to have a little. Auburn's defense it'll make a difference on the field. I think on Monday.
They could definitely kick their ass. That's my feeling. But the strongest words have come from Adrian Killens, as you said.
He said they're in for a rude awakening.
Rude awakening.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, and since then, it's just been a little morsels from other people. Like the freshman receiver yesterday, Gabriel Davis, said, there's holes in Auburn's defense, like every defense, he said, clarifying it. But he kept saying it over and over again. He goes, yeah, we've been watching the Georgia game.
And that phrase is very specific.
Yeah,
like
and
holes,
they mentioned that.
We think we can attack some. It's just.
We think we can be successful. It was more or less, no, there's holes in that defense and we can attack it. And so, we've seen it on film.
And as much as Kevin Steele will say we kind of don't use that or we don't pay attention, they're listening.
Attention.
They listen. They hear it, and it matters just a little bit. It's not going to be the defining part of that game, but look, Davis sees that guy coming across the middle. Does he give him something a little extra? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Even Trey Williams. Trey Williams was talking today, not about the motivation, but just like how he, even with the orange jersey this year, he's just been knocking the crap out of people in practice when he's not supposed to hit.
Yeah.
And this being his last game, I guarantee you that dude's going to be playing all out. Especially, listen, on game day, what's going to be interesting to me, even though it's early, maybe they'll be awake by then, hopefully I am, but at kickoff, before kickoff, how do those teams treat each other when they're on the field finally?
Yeah.
Do the Auburn players mouth at them? Is UCF
Well, it's been pretty
mouthy?
friendly with these basketball competitions. Did you see Michigan and South Carolina almost coming to bowls after bowling?
Well,
now that's some good stuff.
Yeah, now that was great.
There's definitely some friendly competition going on there.
But those competitions here and then separate areas.
Oh, they were in separate areas?
Yeah, the basketball thing wasn't in the same room.
Because that was close to the media except for a pool photographer.
Now,
But
they did go to...
It's on Snapchat.
They did go to Ebenezer Church, Baptist Church.
They didn't
listen to John
flip
Lewis.
over pews or anything.
And they all came together, and I mean,
Let's
goodness
stay
gracious.
civil in church.
I would hope they
Please.
would be, especially in front of legendary civil rights leaders.
How much of an angle would it have added if they got at it at church? That would have been
in front of civil rights leaders,
Yeah.
some of the greatest men to walk the
that would
streets
have. You probably would have seen a
Atlanta.
few more media folk here.
Here's a bit of their basketball competition. They were so good. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is about, maybe they're just athletes.
Well, several
and
of
so
them
any
play
sport
basketball.
is good.
Basketball,
Okay, well, they
Stephen
were
Roberts
killing it.
was playing. Booby Whitlow, who was a basketball player in high
Who's
school,
this
a
guy
very
with the
good one.
dreads? He made
I don't
a
want
nice shot.
to. No, it looks like they were playing in these conference rooms.
Yeah,
Trey Williams.
It was
They
not
couldn't
like
find-
an
over
intense
at the other
basketball
hotel.
game.
They
team
couldn't
was-
find a basketball court that was available in the
No.
rental.
Listen, well, what they do is
You don't think they could have installed a basketball floor on?
No, they just
install
put
At
a
Mercedes
basketball
Benz Stadium
for one thing.
for one thing?
Well, they didn't
Yeah.
need to bounce the ball; they just needed to shoot.
They were bouncing it though. You
They
gotta
bounced
get
it
in
a
a
little
rhythm.
bit.
They were
If they're shooting
practicing.
free throws. and
They had all
everything,
those stickers on the floor.
I mean, I shot hit a 3-pointer at a furniture store once to save like $300 on the couch.
So there you go.
Clutch.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. Anyway,
There you go.
and so
Put 'em in
today,
coach.
what are they doing today, competition-wise? It's tied 1-1, by the way. The ball
We
week
could look
thing.
it up.
I can't remember what they're doing today.
They did go-karting, and then the basketball, and then
Something.
something.
I'm looking it up. Talks amongst yourselves.
But anyway, so yeah, what's interesting about this bowl week competition? It's silly. Anyway, you get a big championship belt, like a wrestling belt, if you win at the end of the week. Also, 6 of the last 7 winners of this have won the bowl game, except for last year when Washington won the battle and then lost the bowl game against.
I don't think they're
Alabama.
doing it. Maybe
So
it's
it
tomorrow
could
because
be
they have
a tell.
They need a breather today.
they have hospital visits and then they're going to the Hall of
That's right.
Fame and then they have welcome parties. So no competition
It's a
today.
packed day.
So tomorrow.
There's 4 events. Oh, they do like a Family Feud type thing at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. that
Okay.
makes sense.
It's like a Family Feud show, but it's called Football Feud. I hear it's fun.
Football Feud.
They do that.
That sounds
I hear
great.
that's the best thing that they do during the week. And they've got like a hype man, like a mic man, that does these things and announces who wins. He's always wearing like a red suit.
Oh, I did see him.
Yeah, he's something. I went go-kart racing with the players the other night.
Oh, so fun.
Finished last, but I started last, so I was consistent. I didn't.
That's fair.
It was bad. Almost got lapped.
Care to we have that
I thought I was lapped, but I actually wasn't lapped.
and they haven't posted it yet. I was looking
Stephen
at the
Roberts
schedule.
thought it was hilarious that my fat ass was in a go-kart.
Language. Got kids watching at home.
There's no
Censor.
kids in their school. Go to school.
No, there's no school.
Go back to school, even though
It's
it's
Friday.
Christmas
Well,
holidays.
it's the holiday. It's holiday winter break.
Kids,
Oh, that's right. They're on winter break.
kids, you're gonna have to learn the word someday.
It's holiday.
True. You don't
Tushy.
have to be a potty mouth.
Do you think Kerryon Johnson speaks to the media tomorrow?
Yes.
They have not announced the 5 players that are
They'll
supposed to
announce
speak.
it tonight. I'll say yes.
I mean, got to be Jarrett.
Jarrett will talk.
Austin Golson and Braden Smith are probably locks, captains. Darius Slayton or Ryan Davis, and then Kerryon. Or Chandler Cox and
Unsung hero.
Darius Slayton. Unsung hero, Chandler Cox.
Did you know he saves children and from burning buildings? And
He does.
also,
all-around
he
great
doesn't
guy.
need digital.
You think
removal of
that
his
do you
mustache.
think they're going to make Kerryon available?
Yes.
I think if he wants to talk, they'll let him talk. He did not wear a non-contact jersey yesterday at practice. Now, he wasn't going full speed
Yeah.
for a reason. They don't want to injure his shoulder again. But
It'd be good if they just
I
gave all 5
anyway.
offensive linemen.
But go to 3 things. I think 3 things I know to find out exactly how he's feeling.
Here's an interesting question. Do we think that UCF's players are going to rally around their coach one last time, or are they a little bitter that he's leaving?
They really like him. Like
Yeah.
after the AAC championship, he came in and told them, "Hey guys, I'm leaving," and they all really rallied around him and cheered him on. Was like really happy for him. Now, winning a championship probably helped that at that very moment.
I'm
Really
sure.
kind of put some sugar on it. But
Sugar on it.
you get some bad medicine, you put some sugar on it, so it'll go
Sugar.
down easier.
And their quarterback kind of touched on that a little bit in the press conference. He was just kind of saying that he thought the players should have their own decision whether they want to stick with the team afterwards or leave. So I thought that was kind of interesting. He thought that, you lose your coach, it kind of changes the game, maybe changes your opinion of your school. But
You know what? That was a good quote by him about how if something huge happens at your school and the coach leaves, why can't the players leave? Which has been an argument here for a while among the media, among fan bases. I think if you were to fire a coach, let's say a coach gets fired or leaves, and then the NCAA says, hey, players can go ahead and leave too and be immediately eligible, you would see a lot more stability with coaches at schools as far as not the willingness not to fire them because they might lose a lot of star players and everything. And you would
That's
see
true.
certain things kind of like what just happened with Gus Malzahn getting a 7-year deal. Doesn't mean he's going to be here 7 years, obviously. I mean, just look at Brett Bielema. They just announced today he got $15 million of buyout. But it would make it less likely for everybody to kind of have an itchy trigger finger with trying to fire these coaches. I think, honestly, if they were to make that rule, I think it'd be good for the game. It'd be good for the kids, obviously, and I think it'd be good overall for programs that are just not patient enough with some coaches. I mean, just look. Not everybody's going to work out, obviously, but look at Frank Beamer at Virginia Tech. His first 3 or 4 years were pretty dreadful, and then he turned it around. He built it up and got them into national title contention in the late 1990s. So. Not every coach is going to be like that, but stability, you got to have a lot of stability. In these years, my goodness, coaches are getting fired after 3-4 years now, and that usually wasn't the case as often, just 10, 15 years ago. And then you leave the kids going, they say kids are supposed to pick the schools, but let's face it, they also pick it because of the coaches.
yeah, I mean that's a big part of your school experience. I think that's fair. But
Right, it's like you join a fraternity or sorority or something, and then let's say they disband the fraternity or sorority, and also your friends are leaving or something.
right.
Why can't you leave? Everybody, you can leave and transfer if you want.
But do you think that would kind of freeze up the team? I mean, if they were to get rid of their coach and have half their team leave,
Well,
how is
I
the
think-
school supposed to recover from that?
I think that's why the school would lean more towards stability. Because I think then if you fire a coach after when it's completely dreadful, that's when the players would most likely stick around, because then they finally get that breath of fresh air that they need.
Right.
Otherwise, when you get in a situation let's say, for example, who's been fired recently that was kind of just out there?
How do you mean?
Just very quick. At a big program. You can kind of look at Brett Bielema. There was players there that were pretty upset. Florida. What am I
That's
thinking?
quick.
Jim McElwain. That was quick. Some of those players weren't happy. And that's a big program that keeps hiring and firing coaches like it's nobody's business. Or Tennessee, Lane Kiffin when he said
they won life championships, so there's nothing.
They did, and they got bricks. So.
Well, do you guys expect a high-scoring game? How do you think our offense or both offenses will perform?
Could be.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think UCF's going to score over 30 points. I think they'll be in the 20s. I think Auburn could score 40.
Do you think it's going to be 40 to 10?
It could be a blowout.
What's the spread? Does anyone know?
10 points.
It was 10 or it still is. It could be a blowout for Auburn. It could.
How many fans do you think are going to be in the stadium? It's going to be sold out. It's a sold-out game.
Is it? Well, more Auburn fans than UCF, I would think.
There might be more UCF fans.
I think there might be.
It's sold out in the sense that the
all tickets are
allotment
accounted for.
Yeah.
that they gave Auburn's responsible for. So Auburn will probably be paying a lot of money to the Peach Bowl for tickets they couldn't sell.
Yeah, I typed in 2 tickets yesterday, and it was first row in the just off center. They must have a
Still
lot
available.
of tickets.
And you put up on our Body Get a Message board yesterday, and I was noticing it too. Tickets are dropping on the secondary market. So if you're an Auburn fan, look at the secondary market.
It's not too late.
Do not buy the
cheaper
$150 tickets from Auburn.
Don't do
at this
that.
point.
Go get the cheaper tickets on one of these sites that are safe, like
because if you spend $150, you could get lower bowl tickets instead of the 300 seat tickets.
And even that, I'll tell you this right now. If you show up on the day of the game outside the stadium, you will be able to find.
But there are some people that don't want to risk it.
Right.
Don't like doing that kind of stuff. But do not buy through the official.
Do not pay $150 for tickets.
Don't do that.
You
I'm
can
surprised.
Get cheaper tickets.
Do they do deal? I mean, when they haven't sold out tickets before, I don't know when the last time that would have been. Do they don't discount them? They just eat it?
I think they just eat it.
Dang.
Wow.
But Auburn over the recent years have always sold out and have
Right, I'm
requested
saying
more.
they Birmingham
So I don't
Bowl.
know.
They requested more almost an hour after the game because
Yeah.
it was so close.
So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think
New Year's
Auburn
Day
would.
is kind of a weird. It's a tough time to
Yeah,
have
New
a
Year's
game,
Day
too.
at 11:30 a.m. Central Time.
It's early.
That's difficult. I mean, even the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowls. A lot of you guys know used to be New Year's Eve, like late, like 8 o'clock, 7.
Yeah. See, that seems like that's your
'Cause
event. You go downtown, you go to the game,
Right.
you go
After
out
the
drinking
game.
afterwards.
Wait.
New Year's
Gotta
Drinking?
be here.
New Year's Day at 11:30
Afterwards.
Central, 12:30 Eastern is a miserable time for a game on New Year's Day.
Yeah, and then also,
Still a little sleepy.
yeah, and then, listen, some Auburn fans are obviously disappointed that they're not in the playoff. So you add that to the mix of, the
Or not even not the
reward is
playoff.
playing
I think it's
UCF
just
in
being in Atlanta against the weakest sort of name brand of the teams in
Yeah.
Year 6. Not saying weakest team, I'm just saying name brand wise.
Yeah, if this was a Penn
it's
State team that
easy.
was 12-0, it would
I
certainly be
don't
different.
think there would be any question.
But that's not the case. It's a group of 5 team that's just came off a 62-55 victory against Memphis. Memphis is good, but Memphis isn't Alabama or Georgia or Clemson, who Auburn all played early this season.
Yes. Leading to our next question, do you think the players are taking this game seriously?
I do. I think
Yeah, I
they're
think so.
pretty serious about it. I think, one, they're a little aggravated with the way the season ended. I think they're a little aggravated by UCF trying to punch up in their weight class a little bit and being mouthy. Mm-hmm. I also just think that they want to win an 11th game and, prove that they're still one of the top teams in the country. Because if they lose, because if they lose this game, all of a sudden it goes from, Auburn was almost a playoff team to Auburn's in the top 15. They want to finish in the top 5.
It's a big change.
I think
They'll
it's
drop
big
out of
for
the
them.
top 10 for sure if they lose.
Yeah, so if they lose this, they could drop out of the top 10. If they win it, they'll jump into the top 5, I think. So it's from that standpoint, it's big and it's huge for next season, going into next year for the preseason.
And it'd just be embarrassing. You give your coach a 7-year, $49 million deal. You go in a stadium that's an hour and a half down the road. You lose to a team has a coaching staff that's in the Big Ten that's no longer here technically.
It wouldn't be the best look for Auburn.
No.
And some of the players were also mentioning that, like Trey Williams with Trey Matthews. I get them confused. Trey Matthews was just talking about how, it's his last game as a senior. So he wants to certainly show out and get that W. He was all about that today.
Get that W.
So I think they're taking it pretty seriously.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that's come from the seniors, as you said. And then also Gus Malzahn was very, very serious at his press conference.
Wasn't his only bowl win the Birmingham Bowl? Prestigious Birmingham Bowl.
So he can go 2-0 against the AAC with the win.
He did. He beat Memphis. Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch. He looked like Paxton bench.
Hey.
Yeah, sit on the bench. He was not very good in that game.
Here's an interesting question. Do you think we have a possibility of finishing as the highest-ranked SEC team if both Bama and Georgia lose?
That's interesting.
Is that possible?
In the first, if they both lost their semifinal games, where are they ranked right now?
4 is Georgia, so maybe
Higher
no,
than
4
Bama.
is Alabama, right? And then
Yeah.
Georgia's 3.
It's
guess.
possible.
I guess. I think you'd have to have a blowout win. I think you'd have to dominate.
Really kill them.
Like you win close, you're not jumping anybody.
Yeah.
So, there you
I
go.
think if Bama loses and then Auburn wins, no matter how they
They'll
win,
flip-flop.
I think they'll flip-flop. I think
But
they'll
Georgia
finish
probably
out.
finishes ahead of them just because
Right.
they won the last
And
meeting,
they're the
so that's
SEC
it.
champion.
Yeah, they're the SEC champion.
And they beat Auburn.
And Bama and Clemson, do you think that's going to be an interesting game or kind of
Yeah.
slow?
I think it'll be.
I
I
think
like
they're
both.
good-
I like
good
both
playoff
those
matchups,
matchups,
yeah.
man. They're really good, and they're all really good teams. I mean, listen. Alabama only had one loss. It was to Auburn.
Yeah, at Auburn too. So
True.
So-
That poses a challenge.
And Georgia's only loss was at Auburn, but I think Georgia's probably, to be honest, I think Georgia's the weakest team in the playoff field. And I think Oklahoma's going to win it all because they've got the
they got the
good
best
quarterback.
quarterbacks.
That's what's going to come down. I mean, that's what it came down to last year with Deshaun Watson, and I think that's what's going to come down to. It comes down to it almost every year. Y'all always think back to Vince Young against USC. The best quarterback won it. Deshaun Watson.
And there's
he
no
won
sort
it.
of-
Cam Newton, he won it.
There's no sort of transcendent other
Jameis
player,
Winston.
on the field that's right now.
And it's that guy is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
He's the one that now he's apparently sick this week.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah.
There's
in
a
fact-
bug going around. Watch out, guys.
Yeah, in
Wash
fact-
your hands.
In fact, buddy Jason Kersey works for the Athletic. Saw him at practice the other day. He used to cover OU, and he went out to shake his hand, and Baker Mayfield said, "I better not shake your hand because I'll get you sick."
Yuck.
So apparently he's got like a flu type thing,
Gross.
So fun.
and they're trying to get in front of it, which means it's like ramping up.
Oh, not
So
good.
there's no telling. But anyway, that guy's the best player on the field of any of these 4 teams in the playoff. I got OU winning.
We've got a lot of Petway questions. He did not travel with the team. That's kind
Yeah.
of telling.
He's done, guys.
I don't think we're going to see him back.
I mean, that's just my educated guess. We've been saying it since November. I don't think he's going to come back to Auburn. Certainly doesn't sound like it with him here. Now, there was a report out there from a CBS affiliate in Birmingham saying that a source told them that he's not welcome around the team for activities. I was told by several people that's not true.
Well, that would have
at
had
all.
to have been a recent development
Yeah,
since
'cause
he had been at
was
he
just
was
with the
taking
team.
photos.
I mean, he was at the very final practice in Auburn, taking photos with Tim Horton and all the teammates. Not true at all, I was told. If he wanted to come, he was welcome to come. Obviously, he wasn't going to play because he's injured or whatever's going on. But he was welcome to come, and he decided to stay home with his family and his kid. And
Is there an analogous situation in recent memory that was there an injury? I can't remember. I mean, it's like on one hand, you kind of what it says about his future, I don't know, but obviously it doesn't look good. But just with injured players, what have they done in the past? If they're ruled out way before the game, have they traveled in the past? And I can't think. I mean, just off the top of my head. But it's such a short trip to You think
Well,
he could go to the day of the game. I understand he has a family, but it's not like he had to fly to Florida.
Yeah, but
or fly to California.
But he also didn't travel the SEC championship game.
That was
either.
also weird too.
So
Maybe he just had something against Atlanta.
I just think his mind is made up. I think he's gone. I think it's the last you'll see of Karen Petway. And the big question is, what's Carry-On going to do? Because if he leaves, that's a big hole to fill.
Do we know anything about the grade he got back?
No, we do not. Hopefully we'll get to talk to him tomorrow. But
that would be because it's injuries and the draft stuff. I don't think there's any way they make him available unless it's like mandated.
Be a lot of questions for Carry-On.
Because
he'd be the most popular guy here, maybe outside Jared. I think he'd be more popular than Jared Stillmere.
By far. Yes. Jared hasn't said anything close to sort of non-football speak.
Yeah, no.
I'll try to say this as nicely as I can. This season. And Carry-On, look, regardless of like that he's got interesting topics to discuss, is fantastic interview.
He's great.
Just engaging, down to earth, honest. Not going to throw controversial things, but he gives well thought out answers and is very comfortable. So regardless of that, he's got the injury and the draft stuff. He's very good to begin with. So
yes.
Jarrett is fine, but he doesn't say anything. He's from the Chip Lindsey school of addressing the media, I guess.
He just throws a wink and a smile when he's out.
I never got the wink and the smile. Maybe I'd have a different opinion if I got the wink and the smile. But
yep.
all the good, to mention this, maybe a little inside based, but all the guys today, we had Trey Williams, Trey Matthews, Dontavius, Steven Roberts, and Deshaun. Were very engaging, I thought.
Yes.
Deshaun is fantastic and always has been. He majored in media, and he would have a future in media, I think, if that was his choice. Very engaging personality. Trey Matthews and Trey Williams are always good, but Dontavius was more talkative than he's been in the past too. So it's nice to get them in situations where you're talking to them in a more comfortable setting.
Relaxed setting.
So that was kind of interesting and fun and nice. I thought.
Kind of breakout groups.
Good to do that.
And Kevin Steele too.
Auburn, another inside baseball thing, Auburn used to do that. They used to spread them out like in the rain room like this.
Yeah.
And we talked to them. It was great.
Because you get to know them a little bit and you get to know their personalities and they can kind of, look, you're not trying to get them and put them on the spot. You're just trying to have a conversation. And it was very engaging.
Yeah, for example, like some I'm working on, hopefully, I don't know if they'll come together, but talking to Steven Roberts, I was able to ask him some questions. They're very personal that there's no way I could ask them at a press conference.
Or if you did, you wouldn't get an answer because you're in front of, he's standing away from you, not talking to you. It's like you're not engaged. So
it's like talking to a dolphin at the aquarium behind a glass.
Yeah.
It's a little difficult.
Flipper.
A little impersonal.
Just credit to the guys today that they were very engaging, and some you don't hear that.
There's a lot of great guys on this team to talk to.
Yeah,
it really
we
is.
don't
This is probably
get
the best Auburn team I've covered so far that have engaging people to speak to.
It's just unfortunate that you don't get to talk to them.
We don't get to talk to them a lot, and it's disappointing.
They keep us at arm's distance.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
They strike that Heisman.
Well, our viewers think they know what's up with Carry-On.
Carry-On.
Rumors
What's up?
he's going into the draft.
Well, it's
So,
possible.
Ford knows.
Very possible. Just haven't heard anything on that. Here's the other thing.
But remember,
These players haven't told the coaches anything along those lines.
there was a parade scheduled for Gus Malzahn in Arkansas on the Tuesday after the SEC championship, so people get things wrong, right?
Well,
I missed the
right?
parade.
I saw one media member up there said that he had 4 hours after the SEC championship game to make up his mind. Do you think Gus was staying up that late going, I got to figure out what I'm going to do now? I mean, give
They're
me a
expecting
break.
to have a parade on the Tuesday.
And then Tuesday they're having the
parade.
yeah.
So,
You
you
kidding me?
never know. You never know until you know.
He was never going. He was using it for a pay raise.
I would be surprised if Carry-On's made up his mind, though, at this point.
I would too. I feel like you've got to finish your season off, take a breather,
Yeah.
make up your mind.
He's got time. He's got till the 15th.
And he loves Auburn, so that's a tough decision for him, I would
true.
assume.
Probably
Auburn
likes
loves
money.
him. I know who does it.
Who doesn't like big money?
I'd be going into the NFL, I'll tell you that.
I would too.
We've been doing this for like 45 minutes.
Questions,
Have we really?
I don't know. It seems like
34 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's a wrap.
Last minute questions. Just eating away at you guys. You have to know before tomorrow.
Anything? Bueller?
Maybe.
Bueller?
Follow us on social media at Auburn 24/7 Sports. We've got some videos from the press conference up today on our YouTube and on Facebook.
A lot of articles already.
A lot of articles. There's going to be stuff all week. So make sure you've got all your notifications turned on and all that jazz. What's all going on? What is the key for Auburn victory?
Scoring more points.
There you have it, ladies and gents.
Dominating the offensive and defensive lines, which I think they should be able to do.
Handling that UCF fierce speed.
Fierce, fast speed.
Apparently they're really fast guys. And
Yo,
we
hey.
need to watch out.
You want to hear a funny story?
Yo.
UCF brought their punter in yesterday.
For
What
a
did he
press
have to
conference?
say?
He has a big red beard like mine.
No,
Nice.
you guys bonded?
No, but he did answer my questions honestly. I think there was a
That's
connection there.
bonding.
I will not write a story about him, but I was asking him questions just because I felt bad for him being in there and no one asking questions. Because he plays for a team that scores on practically every drive.
You should
and he
have
doesn't get the
written
punt.
like
Not much punting.
you should have written like a 2,000-word story on the punter.
I should.
Just-
Well, I was trying to get have some fun questions. Like, what do you do on the sideline when you're like,
Yeah.
you know you're not going to punt?
Yeah.
How
Have
do
you seen
do you stay
Aiden
warm?
Marshall punt? Do you laugh when you see it?
Oh my God.
Something like that.
But he's from this area apparently, the punter.
Oh,
So that's why they brought him in.
from the A.
Did you know that there's apparently like a backup holder on the UCF roster who went to Auburn?
As a
He won't
walk-on?
play Monday.
As a
It's a
walk-on?
double agent.
I don't know. But apparently he came by for a cup of coffee at Auburn and it's UCF.
Interesting.
Did you know?
Will he not play because of that or just because of...
He's just not the best
Normal
holder or
reasons.
long snapper or whatever he is.
There you go.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. What's news breaks today?
Yeah, unless there's something new. So stay tuned. AuburnUndercover.com.
Does anybody want to lean over and hit that? 'Cause
Yeah,
I ain't.
I was good.